Book Summary: Girl Braiding Her Hair by Marta Molnar and Dana Marton. Introduction: Girl Braiding Her Hair is the second installment in the Light and Life series, a work of biographical historical fiction inspired by the life of Suzanne Valadon, a woman who rose from poverty and obscurity to become one of the most celebrated, if still under-recognized, female artists of her era. Known today for her portraits and figure paintings, Valadon began life with no access to formal training. This novel imagines her early years in late 19th century Paris, her encounters with renowned artists, and her relentless pursuit of creative expression despite societal barriers. The narrative blends historical fact with richly imagined scenes, balancing humor, grit, and pathos. Alongside Valadon's personal and artistic awakening, the novel engages with broader questions about gender, ambition, survival, and the enduring power of art to transcend time. Suzanne's world: poverty, Paris, and possibility. The story opens in Paris during the Belle Époque, a city in full artistic bloom yet sharply divided by class. Suzanne's early life is marked by instability and economic hardship. Born into poverty, she experiences the transient world of odd jobs, walking horses for a stable owner, making funeral wreaths for meager pay, performing as a circus acrobat. These roles sharpen her resilience and adaptability, qualities that will later serve her in navigating the cutthroat world of art. From a young age, Suzanne shows a keen eye for observation and a natural ability to sketch. But the Paris art scene of the time is rigidly male-dominated. Prestigious art schools like the École des Beaux-Arts do not admit women, and female ambition is often met with condescension or outright hostility. Becoming a model and a student in disguise. When Suzanne begins modeling for artists, it is not just a way to earn money. It becomes her entry point into the guarded world of artistic technique. She poses for some of the most famous painters of the day, including Pierre-Auguste Renoir, and quietly studies their methods. Her time in these studios is an education in brushwork, color, anatomy, and composition. She learns without formal instruction, absorbing what she sees like a sponge. Yet she must hide her ambitions. As a working-class woman and a model, any overt display of intellectual or artistic aspiration would risk her livelihood. Renoir, in particular, becomes a figure of fascination and influence. Through him, Suzanne sees both the vibrancy of the Impressionist movement and the gender dynamics that govern the art world. He paints her as an object of beauty. She, in turn, paints herself into history. The struggle for legitimacy. Suzanne's pursuit of art is hampered not only by the lack of institutional access, but also by the prevailing social codes. Women artists are rare, and those from working-class backgrounds even rarer. Her determination is met with skepticism by those who believe talent must be sanctioned by academic credentials. The novel captures these tensions through scenes in which Suzanne negotiates for space, materials, and time to work. Her progress is measured in stolen hours and improvised studios, rooms lit by a single window, canvases propped against peeling walls. Still, her work develops a distinctive style, characterized by bold lines, unidealized human forms, and an unapologetic gaze, qualities that will later define her reputation. Themes of survival and self-determination. Running parallel to Suzanne's artistic journey is a story of survival, the Paris of girl braiding. Her hair is not all cafe terraces and shimmering light. It is also tenement housing, exploitative employers, and the constant threat of being discarded when no longer young or useful. The authors portray Suzanne not as a saintly or tragic muse, but as a fully human character. Flawed, witty, defiant, and resourceful, she makes choices for her own advancement, sometimes at the expense of convention. In one memorable moment, she reflects that the world has given her no blueprint for the life she wants. She must draw it herself. Interwoven timelines and modern resonance, as part of the Light in Life series, the novel draws subtle connections between women artists across eras. The narrative occasionally shifts to the perspective of a modern-day character, whose own struggles in the art world mirror Suzanne's in spirit, if not in form. This time-crossing element reinforces the book's central assertion. The fight for recognition, equality, and artistic freedom is not bound to a single century. Through these interludes, the novel highlights the persistence of structural barriers, while also celebrating the solidarity and inspiration that can flow across generations of women. The Renoir influence, the relationship between Suzanne and Renoir, is not romanticized here. While he is depicted as a figure of charm and skill, the novel does not ignore the power imbalance between artist and model. Suzanne's interactions with him sharpen her understanding of the politics of representation, how a painting can elevate or diminish, reveal or obscure. By learning while posing, she quietly subverts the dynamic, using the very position designed to render her passive as a means of empowerment. Her ability to internalize and later adapt the techniques she sees in Renoir's studio becomes one of the novel's most compelling threads: humor and humanity. While the book engages with serious themes, it is also punctuated with humor and warmth. Suzanne's voice, at turns sarcastic, tender, and fiercely independent, keeps the reader engaged. Moments of absurdity, small triumphs, and unlikely friendships provide balance to the more difficult passages. One scene, for example, shows her navigating the chaos of a bustling market to buy paints, haggling with the same intensity she once used to keep a circus audience's attention. Another depicts a shared laugh with fellow models over the ridiculous postures demanded by certain painters. Climactic turning point, as Suzanne's skills mature, she faces a choice: remain in the relative safety of modeling or risk everything to present herself as an artist in her own right. The climax builds around her decision to step forward, publicly and without apology, as a painter. This moment is not framed as an unqualified victory. Rather, it is an assertion of existence. In one of the novel's most resonant lines, she declares, "I want people to hear a whisper when they look at my art. We were here." It is both a personal statement and a universal call to recognize women's contributions in history themes and literary significance. Girl braiding. Her hair resonates on multiple levels: historical reclamation, giving voice to a woman largely overlooked in mainstream art history; feminist commentary, examining how gender shapes opportunity and recognition; artistic devotion, showing the discipline, observation, and courage required to create without institutional support; survival narrative, portraying the economic and emotional resilience needed to navigate an often hostile world. The prose is vivid, with rich sensory detail that evokes the streets of Paris, the scent of turpentine, and the shifting light of a winter studio. The authors succeed in making both the period and the protagonist feel immediate and alive. Conclusion girl, braiding. Her hair is an emotionally gripping portrait of a woman who refused to be confined to the role assigned to her. By weaving fact and fiction, Marta Molnar and Dana Marton craft not only a compelling biography, but also a meditation on the enduring struggle for artistic self-definition. It is a story to make readers laugh, cry, and most importantly, remember a name history nearly erased: Like the whisper Suzanne wants her art to carry, this novel ensures that we know she was here,